I need to cut some more of these blocks, loosing it. The boards are slightly longer than the roof because they come in fixed lengths. At least off the shelf they're fixed lengths. So that means that I have to cut along the ridge. I have done a preliminary cut there already, just at the width of the blocks. These small loosing it, as they're called, these small blocks that go here, they're about 8.5 centimetres wide, long, or can actually be 9 centimetres in fact. If you remember, they're the ones that support these boards so that they don't curve as they get wet and dry out. They curve. They curve one way when they're dry and the other way when they're wet. So, yeah. So as I was saying, I've cut some of the top pieces at the same width as the scap. I'll have to cut it again, but I think I'll wait until the other side is in place. So I cut some of those last night. They're down on the bench saw. I'm going to cut those to the right size. I need about, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16, 24. I need 24 of those. So I'll do that now. Forget to mention Memphis on the railway side. You might be wondering why I take the trouble of using the line like this. And the reason for that is because these boards are impregnated. I mean, it might seem to be more rational just to put them on with a bit of extra length and then cut them afterwards with a circle saw, which, yes, is a very good way of doing it. But if I did that, I'd cut off these ends, and they are impregnated. I don't want to lose the impregnation because it won't go really very deep. It might only go 5 or 6 millimeters into the surface. That's very important. So that's the reason for doing it like this. Usually, if something that I'm doing is particularly time consuming, it's for good reason. I don't just do time consuming things for the fun of it. It's to do with getting good results. All things can be done more quickly, but you don't necessarily get the good results if you do that. You could cut it and then repaint it afterwards, but it just wouldn't be the same because these are, as I say, the impregnation. I'm not sure if they're pressure impregnated. I think they probably are actually. If you see the part here, you can see that it's quite deep into the surface, which would suggest it's pressure impregnated. But see, if I cut off 1 centimetre or 2, I'd be into fresh wood, and that would rot much faster. And even if I painted on the material, the treatment, it wouldn't be the same. For a start, it doesn't have the copper impregnation that the impregnated boards have. So that's the green stuff. It's kind of copper oxide of some kind. You can see that the linseed oil treatment that's on the surface of this, it only goes in 2 or 3 millimeters. I think they're dipped after they've been pressure impregnated. Sounds like the birds think spring's on the way. So the other board was 11 down, so it's there. So this one cuts at that point there. So I'll cut that off. The second cut there because it started to pinch the saw. Normally when we put tar paper on the roof, the last piece is bent up and nailed up to the inside of the board that comes here, here. But in this case, that it needs to be waterproof at this point here if you're using roof stones, you know, tiles, because the snow and water can blow in. But this is a sealed system where the board on the top is sealed, wood against wood. A little bit of snow can blow in, but not so much water. And this tar paper got damaged because we didn't finish the edge here completely and put this board on before Christmas. It had to spend a few weeks with the paper just loose, and some of it got a bit torn. So I made the decision, because it being a board roof which is completely sealed, I decided to cut this off at this point. It makes this work a little bit easier to do, which is one good thing. But I've based this on the fact that I've done a lot of restoration work, and I've seen roofs where the paper stops before it reaches this end, time and time again, and it's not a particular cause for damage. As long as the system is quite airy, it's nothing. It's not a concern. I'm not concerned about that. And it's one of the reasons for using these larger boards here, these larger electric battens here. You could use 11mm battens, that's normal, but these are slightly bigger, 22, double as big, and that's to add a bit more air. And with this dark roof, it heats up and makes a convection and pulls air through the roof. So it's a fast drying system. It's a fast drying construction. Okay, so that's got a bit of scaffolding up, ready for next week. Take the snow off. Same here.